Today we're going to be exploring Fable dongs. Okay, so this this is a very funny and very mature story. So I have a friend who sent me these, and the big joke there is when they arrived, it was Fable color pencils. But in the ad she saw online, they were called dongs, and apparently she thinks I'm immature that I would find this funny. So she was going to send me these pencils so I would have to review dongs. And she was so upset. She was so upset when they arrived that it didn't say that. It just said Fable. But online, she went back to get that image and it's already gone. It's already replaced by this. You could see right here where it has Dong A Fable. And same thing on the side there where it has Dong A. So it was just one of those things that I at some point was a little upset for her because I knew how bad she wanted me to review the dongs. All in all, this is a pretty simple, pretty basic box. I like it. It's a good sturdy material. Now it is a little airy in the sense that there's really no way this is going to lock, and because the box is so thin, that it is very easy for these pencils to shift with inside the cover. And another thing is there are 36 of them. When I first got this set, I honestly thought that it was just some like real cheap knockoff set, so I was not expecting much from them. It does have the little piece of rice paper. Again, this is not a big deal, but I love pencils so much. I love all things colored pencils. And things like this, they don't have to have them, but they put them. It serves no purpose other than a greeting. It's always nice when they have something written on there, just to say, hey, look, I love my product. But this is, again, one of those little happy moments for me. I like seeing stuff like this. If we look at the pencils themselves, they are a very pretty pencil. Now, I have learned some things in this last year, and I'm going to point out to you that I thought was interesting, and you may or may not find it interesting. These pencils, if we look at one, okay, first we have a beautiful silver inlay on this side. There's nothing on the other side. The back has been dipped. It has the band on it. Things that are different about this pencil, it's silver instead of gold, which I like. It's because, again, that's different. Usually they're gold. The band is a darker variant of what the dip is. And usually this would match. Usually this is silver to match the writing. In this case, it's just a darker variant of the color. But the thing I want to point out to you is the back. So I'll go ahead and share something very, very big for me. One of the biggest projects, if not the biggest project I've ever been involved in, is creating my own branded color pencil. This has been well over a year's journey for me. And in doing so, I've discovered so many things and learned so much more about pencils. One of which is what we're looking at right here. Normally, when you have a pencil and they have the dipping process, the back is dipped in a certain formula to match the lead. And they have a vat of these, so they just constantly dip the pencils in the purple or in the blue or whatever to make it match the best they possibly can. When I was looking at pencil designs, one of the things the factory sent me were these little wraps. What made me think about, and I'm talking to probably a select few of you, those old Paws Easter eggs that you used to put them in the plastic and then you dip it and the heat seal would go around it. That's kind of what this is. This little back area is not a dip. It's not paint at all. You could see where the paper overlaps itself. So the pencil has this machine and it wraps this around each of the pencils that go through. So no matter which pencil I pick up, you could see right where the wrap overlaps. So this is a little cheaper process than actually dipping the pencil into the paint because it's just this big string of paper that wraps and wraps and wraps as the pencils come down. Not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something I now notice because this was something I was leaning towards when I was designing a pencil, the look of a pencil. And I actually veered away from it. And now seeing it up close in an actual, a product makes me glad I kind of went away from that, just because to me it just looks thin. When you look at certain other pencils and it's that thick, glossy dip, it's just something quality about that as opposed to a thin little sheet of paper. Now, this is part of the pencil now. It is infused on it, so it's not like it's going to peel off. But again, there's something different between the paper versus paint. Now, I knew very little about these pencils, and so because I got them, and again, they were sent to me almost as a joke, and because of that, I thought, well, they're probably going to be a crappy knockoff set. I was pretty pleased with the performance of these pencils. And to come to find out when I was looking on Amazon, I'm like, these aren't a knockoff set at all. These are actually a higher quality pencil as far as the price goes. So certain things I was seeing here didn't necessarily match the price I was looking at. So I figured it must all be in the formula, which is a really good formula. The biggest downside, I could live with everything. The biggest downside for me is not these wraps at the back, but the lack of colors. You're looking at the largest set that Fable has is 36. Let's look at the colors. Now, for a set of 36, this is a beautiful palette in order to make those grays. You do have your yellows. Your yellows go into your oranges, into your reds, into that deep brick red. And then there is a pretty good transition for it being a 36, a good transition between your yellows down into your ochres, into your browns, into that dark cocoa brown. Then they even tease you a little bit with some peach colors, but it's enough that goes on the side that it could have fell into your orange, or it could have fell into the browns. I put them here with the browns just to give you a larger selection. There's not much in the ways of your aquas, which again, it stings a little bit, but we're talking about 36 colors. If they had aqua, they wouldn't have something else. They have a really pretty set of purples for what they have. The violets are really pretty. You have your pinks. So, and your greens aren't lacking. Blues are there. So if you look at this as an overall, this is a good set. I would like to have seen, if I'm going to nitpick, it does a good job from going from yellow into your orange, but then you'll notice there is a little repetition here in the orange. There's a little bit of repetition here in the brown. And same thing with the blue. And the only reason this is a big deal is because you're talking about 4 more colors that could have been put in this palette, but unfortunately they're very similar to colors that are already there. So it lowers your 36 set to about a 32 set, which stings a little bit, because I did like the performance of these pencils. I needed to design a picture that was fairly basic. So I wanted to draw something that would encompass a good range of these colors. So I did something that would have a lot of the earth tones, because this palette does have a very pretty set of earth tones. So I started playing around with the pumpkins and the oranges and the yellows. I was really happy when I first started using these pencils. They just had a good feel to them. Having said that, they also had a very familiar feel. No, I'm not saying they're a white label, but I am saying they're very similar to these other oil sets that we're going to get. So therein lies the problem, I believe, that I personally have with this set of pencils. Let me start by saying, the good news is I did like the way they went down. They were absolutely fun to use, and that's the core, I think, of what we're looking for in any pencil. Is not being frustrated when we use them, but the joy of using them. This had that joy, but the question becomes, can you get that same joy with a cheaper set? And yes, you can. These went down really well, and they blended fantastic. It was the layering. Once I got to layer 1 and 2, fine. But when I hit 3 and 4, then the colors kind of started to roll and they started to stick, and it caused a little bit of issues. It wasn't anything you can't work around. Again, you're going to get the outcome you really want with them, but there was a little bit of that learning curve when it comes to lots of layers. It makes me want to recommend something like a Nayoni or a set of Ukus. Those are also oil color pencils that are a lot of fun, but they have way more colors. When I'm paying that kind of price for this pencil, it either needs to work like magic or it needs to give me a lot of colors. These don't give you a lot of colors. They're not so great that it makes the price worth it for just 36 colors. So I wouldn't discourage anybody from getting them if they want to, increase the size of their pencil collection and they want to dabble in something new. This is fine for that. But if you're trying to build a collection early on, maybe only have 1 or 2 sets of pencils, or maybe you don't have any sets of pencils, this would not be something I would recommend. You're talking about, just the quality in itself, or the lack of quality in itself, in the packaging of these pencils, the thin box with the type of paint that's on the pencils. Just the look of the pencil themselves is definitely on the lower side of quality. And you can go out and get a low budget pencil for a fraction of the price, and you're talking about quadruple the amount of pencil. So to go from 36 colors to 120 colors is a big jump. Yeah, the inside of these pencils are way better than the outside, but having said that, it's not so much better that to me it still justifies it. And again, it sounds like I'm ripping on these things. Don't get them. That's not the case. I did have a lot of fun with it. I just am not comfortable personally giving it, the sugar sweet seal of approval to say, yeah, definitely go out and get these. It's just not the case for these. Will I use them again? Yeah. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. But would I grab another budget set over these? Yes, I would grab most of my 120 oil sets over this one that have that many more colors. That just, I can't grasp, a logical reason. I would say, oh, let me pull out the Fable color pencils over my 120 Uku set. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So I want it to be buyer beware. If you're spending over 30, 40 bucks for a set of 36 colors, they need to be a miraculous set of colors. And these just don't quite hit that mark for me. And what do we have here? So before I end this little video, for those very few of you who made it this far and actually waited, this little plushie cat is going on sale. I put out a little batch of these, I think a couple of years ago, and they went really, really fast. So once again, I'm going to put another very, very small batch of these out, these little Color Buddies plushies. So I have this right now on my Etsy page. So if you're interested in something like this, swing by and grab one of these. It's coming with a pin. Last time it came with little sketches, original sketches. This time they're going to come with a random pin. But it's, again, very limited. It'll be first come, first serve. But if this is something you think you're interested in, they will only be on sale for the first week of October. So that's this week. So swing by my Etsy and put your order in.